Starfield 2.0, absolutely exciting. I cannot wait for the redemption story of Starfield. The Cyberpunk 2077 arc has begun. It's gonna be fantastic. If you think like this, I don't know what to tell you, because none of this is gonna happen. It's a lie. It's never happening, and Bethesda knows it. It's just trying to get and sucker people like you in who do not know better and are not thinking too much about this. Starfield is dead. Even Todd Howard removed its name from it because he doesn't want to be associated with something this legendary bad.
So by now, everybody kind of knows that a Starfield 2.0 update is coming. It's around the corner, kind of. And if you've been to my channel before, you know that I cannot stand Starfield as it is. But I've also said many times in the past that I would be the first person to admit when I am wrong. If Starfield's had some sort of turnaround or big...
I try to be as impartial as possible. I try to be as fair as possible. I am the fairest man in the universe, by the way. If Starfield would ever do something good, I would just say it. But thankfully, we're talking about Starfield and Bethesda in general, so I will never be wrong. And everyone knows it, okay? This is the sure... There's two things infinite in this world. Taxes, stupidity, and definitely Bethesda being incompetent is the third one.
Big 2.0 update that significantly changed the game, I would be the first person to be like, you know what, that's pretty good. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about this big Starfield update rumor. There's no official Bethesda announcement yet, but there's a ton of reports from either big RPG creators and some X accounts who play Starfield a lot. And they all suggest the idea that a big Starfield update is coming called 2.0. It's rumored to be something bigger than a typical patch, but likely not as massive as the Cyberpunk 2077 2.
Yes, this was the funny part. People heard about this 2.0 update and they were like, oh, update, big, the redemption arc. And then Bethesda, this rumor got squashed by someone from Bethesda itself, and they said, no, this is not gonna be like a big thing. We're just calling it 2.0 for no real reason. It's just gonna be like your typical minor nothing burger patch for Starfield, which is hilarious. Again, I have said this before. At this point, there is no patch that's gonna save Starfield. Starfield cannot be saved. It's probably faster to make a whole new game than fix all of the issues with Starfield. Unironically, there is nothing that Starfield does right. Nothing. You can name me a mechanic and I will literally explain to you through like 5 steps why that mechanic is a failure, bad, and should not have been implemented, and what's a better solution. And everything in Starfield is the worst option.
2.0 style overhaul. I've been seeing this floating around here and there, and I finally caved and did some research on it. You know me, I just can't help myself. I need to talk about Starfield in some capacity just about every month. I mostly found Starfield creators on X talking about it, and they were pretty much all positive things, surprisingly. So I'll go ahead and read you a few of them and give you my take on it. Detective Seeds had this to say. Also, Detective Seeds is a very well-known leaker. That was pretty spot on during...
Yeah. Everyone's a pretty well-known leaker at this point.
...during the Oblivion Crisis back in April. Anyway, he said, I think Starfield 2.0 is going to really surprise players and get people to come back. I think PS5 players are going to...
Dude, the Starfield expansion was given to everyone for free, pretty much. And you can't even see this much of a bump in the player numbers when you look at when the expansion was released. It's barely visible. Nothing can save and fix Starfield at this point. It's over.
Really enjoy it now, poor PS5 players. My main concern is that 2026 is so packed with games that people may be hesitant to give it a fresh look. Jay Duke said, I wanted to verify the terms of the embargo before I said anything, but full disclosure, I can confirm that I receive an early look from Bethesda Game Studios at what's coming to Starfield. I will be able to share more information in the future, but for now, that's all. On a personal note, I am stoked. And the last one I was
Of course, that's so believable.
show is from Jez Corden. He said that Starfield is getting a big upgrade in 2026, and the new features were recently showed off at a secret event with a picture that has the headline of Xbox's Starfield, that's funny, might get a Cyberpunk 2.0 moment in 2026. So that's interesting. I think we're all in agreement that nobody would be mad if the game got better, right? I mean, I don't know. I think it's
I mean, no one would be, but we all know that that's never happening.
silly. As much as I hate on this game, I think it's silly to be upset over something that improves upon itself, right? But I pray to God that I eat the words that I'm about to say, okay? And those words are...
I actually don't want also Starfield to get better. And the reason for that is very simple. If Starfield gets better, that means that Bethesda just willy-nilly released the unfinished product yet again, and people bought it, and people would be rewarding Bethesda for doing a horrible job at it. I don't like the idea of forgiveness in situations like this where it's this bad. If they ever fix Starfield, it's not worth your time. But they're never gonna fix Starfield. I guess that's the bright line here, right?
I do not believe it's going to be anywhere near the improvement that Cyberpunk 2.0 had. Not a chance. And again, I hope I'm wrong, man. So let's talk about some speculation for a second and some stuff that I think would improve Starfield 1,000%. Now, before we get into this, which I think you're really going to want to hear this list, I want to say that all of what I'm about to discuss is entirely possible. Yes, it is speculation, but I've created this as a wish list of gameplay mechanics and the kind of just improvements that I would like to see added to Starfield that would potentially bring me back into the game. Number one for me has to be space travel, okay? Let me explain this. I know this is like a weird number one. What I mean is, like seamless space travel that doesn't make me feel like I'm boxed into a very small play area. Seamless space travel, I don't mean like full-on manual No Man's Sky style planetary entry, but what I mean is something closer to an illusion. Think about it like this. Fewer hard cuts, you take off, accelerate, and instead of a black screen, you get an in-game transition where the planet pulls away, stars stretch out, and now you're in orbit. Same thing going planet to planet. I think that short in-engine warp sequences instead of menu hopping would honestly be better. Honestly, kind of like Star Wars. I'm pretty much describing Star Wars now that I think about it. This would massively help immersion without Bethesda needing to fully simulate interstellar distance, right? Even just letting you fly between moons or space stations and nearby points of interest on a planet, like without menus, would make space feel like a place instead of just a big hub.
This is completely impossible, by the way, because that would imply that the whole world needs to be generated, and that's impossible in Starfield.
For loading screens, man. I cannot shake the feeling that Starfield space travel has given me. I cannot shake it. Being able to fast travel from planet to planet pretty much ruined it for me from the get-go. Number two for me would have to be creation engine upgrades that are able to handle deeper gameplay.
The funny part about this is already the upgraded creation engine, okay? This was Bethesda's like, we're here, boys. It's the 21st century here at Bethesda. The creation engine has physics. Have you seen the sandwich dominoes? Yes, I have, Bethesda. It's very unimpressive, thank you.
Mechanics. Everything feels so static and in place all the time. You can't roleplay as a merchant without using your imagination. I feel like I can only pretend to be a bounty hunter, etc., etc. An improved creation engine 2 could unlock deeper systematic gameplay rather than just prettier visuals. I don't really give a shit how the game looks, to be honest. I don't care. It's fine to look at, but I feel like that's what everybody focuses on whenever they think about a game.
It's not fine to look at. It looks horrible. That's also a huge problem.
Game engine. Like, oh, how pretty can it be? I'm talking about better background simulation. That could allow NPCs, factions, economies to operate semi-independently of the player. That means trade routes that actually move goods.
We already can do that. That's the funny part. This is a horrible misunderstanding of what the problem is and how what's happening. Bethesda's engines have already been capable of doing that for a long time. They have done it in other games. It's just they're incompetent and they're incapable, so they can't do it in Starfield. Also, the game doesn't facilitate any of the prerequisites for these things to work like that. Again, it is easier to make a whole new game than make Starfield good at this point. You know the meme where everyone's gonna say, "Oh, the bones are actually real good." You know, the core is there. Diablo 4, by the way, the core is there. We just need to improve upon it. No, it's not there. It's bad. It's horrible. Nothing is there.
Pirate factions that raid them dynamically, and systems where shortages and surpluses actually give it, like, they matter. If you attack a cargo lane, prices spike somewhere. If you protect a cargo lane, faction grows stronger over time. This kind of under the hood depth, I think that Bethesda engines have historically struggled with. Like, there has to be a way for them to do this and also allow us to see it in real time so that our actions feel like they actually have consequences, man. That's a big issue, I feel like, with the engine. It's like nothing feels like it matters. Like, great, we have sandwich physics.
I steal all these sandwiches and put them, in my cargo hold that I have specifically for sandwiches. I don't want to play the hero, but I want to go out and just start taking things from people as quickly as possible.
Oh yeah, the sandwich lady. That's a good thumbnail. I should honestly use this.
People as quickly as possible.
Yeah, that is a beautiful thumbnail right there. Ah, yes, evil. I love it. Absolutely, I love it. There we go.
Possible.
Awesome. That's not very fun, right? Number 3 for me has to be the barren planet issue, okay? For barren planets, I'm not talking about, like, the fix doesn't have to be more stuff everywhere, okay? Imagine planets that feel empty, but on purpose.
It's hilarious because Bethesda has completely the opposite issues, right? Planets are too empty. There's literally nothing in there. But locations that exist have too fucking much crap in them. Again, like, look at this. Look at this. You're gonna see pipes, ventilation ducts, tarps, boxes fucking everywhere. Any location you go in Starfield is gonna have these things in abundance. And AC cooler systems on the side of, houses and whatnot. And it's gonna have 1, then it's gonna have 2, then it's gonna have 3, and then it's gonna have 4. And lamps everywhere where it doesn't make any sense. You're gonna have a candle, and then a lamp. Ah! How are you this bad, Bethesda?
Okay, abandoned mining worlds with automated defenses still running. Ghost towns tied to old faction wars. Abandoned research stations slowly degrading over time that aren't the same stations you've visited the last 10 hours. Or planets that only become active during certain in-game events. I think procedural content is fine, but if that content was tied to narrative hooks, it would go a long way, brother. Even small things, okay, like roaming survey crews, rival explorers, distress beacons. I feel like that would all break this feeling like you're the only person living there. I would even like to see some factions fighting over parts of the galaxy, like actually fighting, like a Stormcloak versus Imperial type of war, but on a galactic scale. Yeah, it's a lot of work, boo-hoo, but damn would that be awesome. If a solo mod developer like the dude who makes Star Wars Genesis can do it, surely, right? Sure.
I checked this out. The mod is cool. The guy tried really hard, but at the end of the day, the problem is this Star Wars mod is still Starfield, which makes it kind of bad. When you get over the awe and shock of, wow, this is actually cool, then all of the same problems that Starfield had instantaneously kind of show up. Well, minus a couple, but you can still know it's Starfield. You still have all of the pitfalls of Starfield.
Surely a team of 700 professionals can accomplish it. Number 4, better economy system. I think that a deeper trading and economy system would be massive, man. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but let me explain. Instead of vendors magically restocking credits, Starfield 2.0 could introduce regional economies with actual demand. Like, certain systems could specialize in fuel or weapons or medicine or luxury goods or whatever it is. Like, you could run legit trade routes, smuggle contraband through high security space. I know you can kind of do that already, but it's been boiled down to an extremely surface level kind of mini game, okay? Or you can invest in colonies and outposts that produce goods over time. I kind of get you can also do that, but why not make it where NPCs can do that and you can help them out? Pirates wouldn't just be random encounters, they'd be targeting profitable routes. You know, you can either help them create those routes or protect them. Number 5 on my list, and the last one, it's kind of a vague one, but it's the problem of the Starfield world feeling extremely lifeless and only there to please me. I know that's the whole point of a game, right? Like, the whole point of a game is to make you feel important. But there's ways to cover this up and still make you feel important while living amongst a universe that feels like it has its own agenda. I know that's a mouthful. Let me explain it a little bit more. The lifeless universe problem could probably be addressed by adding more dynamic encounters, not scripted quests, but systems that trigger based on your actions, like rival captains who remember you, bounty hunters that track you across systems, factions expanding or collapsing without your direct involvement. Maybe something like the Nemesis system
yeah,
from Shadow
I was
of
thinking
War.
that.
That'd be awesome. They don't have to copy and paste it, but, come on. Something like this, like if you ignore a system for 30 hours and come back, you might find it controlled by a different faction. The world would instantly feel more alive. That's the kind of thing an upgraded engine could finally support reliably. I think, dang, man, this is hard, right? Because we're talking about Bethesda here. If Bethesda leans into a systems over spectacle kind of model, I think Starfield 2.0 doesn't need to reinvent anything. It just needs to make the universe feel like it exists with or without you. And honestly, that would alone change how people talk about Starfield forever. And guys, I know a lot. I know this sounds like a lot, right? Like my list. And
this is a lot. Bethesda can't even fix a basic bug. And you think they're going to add any of this? Of course not. Yeah, this 2.2 update is obviously not going to work. And again, none of this is realistic. Bethesda is not going to do any of this. They are incapable of doing any of this. And, well, if you actually think that there is a chance, then you're kind of just actively trying to get yourself hurt, because there is no chance. Yeah, in any case, a 10 out of 10. That was that? Horse armor. We have actually seen a bunch of videos already. The Bethesda hate is real, boys. 10 out of 10. Bye.